Here we go. Hey, what's up?
Ahoy!
Howdy.
How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Very well indeed. How about yourself? Well, I guess you already said that. Yeah.
What's up? What do you want to talk about?
Um,
You said you wanted to talk about pro life stuff?
yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
What's your stance?
What's my stance? Pretty in
Mm,
favor of like abortion being a general right, like bodily autonomy and stuff.
why?
Because I think bodily autonomy is pretty important.
And why should that be a right?
Because I don't think like a stranger has the right to like steal one of your organs, or like the government has the right to come and like, amputate your leg or something. Generally, I think bodily autonomy is really important. Unreasonable search and seizure and all that. Uh, could
No, yeah, I get
Yeah,
that. I get
yeah.
that. Yeah. So, do you think it's the right just to kill another human being? Just take him right out of you?
Well, it's less the right to kill another human being and more the right to assert what your body is used for.
No, it's not.
Oh, it absolutely is.
No, it absolutely is a human being inside of you,
I mean, sure, but
right?
also if we applied this to two fully grown adults, you would never say, "Hey, you got into a car accident with this other person and therefore you need to hook your body up to the victim, or the victim is entitled to your body in order to live." We would never
Yeah,
we would never allow that. That
yeah,
isn't
but this
something we
isn't
allow.
about yeah, but this isn't about two adult human beings. It's about one adult human being, an unborn fetus.
Yeah, and I think the unborn fetus has less rights than a fully grown adult person.
But isn't it life?
Sure, but like so is the millions of germs that I wash off my hands when I use antimicrobial soap.
Yeah.
That's life.
Okay. All right. But it's life,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a human life.
Sure.
Yeah. So why kill it?
Because I don't think it has the right to use your body against your will.
Well, it's not using your body against your will. You're making it.
Yeah, but if you don't want it in there, I think you have the right to unplug it.
Well, then you can just use that logic on anything else.
Elaborate.
Okay. So like, I don't like the way someone's living inside my house. I'll
Mm-hmm.
just get rid of them.
If it's your house, yeah, you actually have the right to do that.
But do I have the right to use lethal forces just because I don't want them there?
Depends on the circumstances, but often, yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about like violent. I just don't want them there. Just don't want them there anymore.
You
I
you
can just go
literally
inside
have
the bedroom
you literally
and
have
shoot
the
them.
you have the right to the recourse of the state to impose state violence upon them to evict them. Yeah.
I'm not talking about eviction. We're talking about death. This is death. There's no eviction of
Well, yeah. Uh huh.
a fetus is death.
Yeah.
And what if you want to like would you say it would be good to end suffering for all humans?
I what do you mean by suffering?
Just in general suffering.
Well, I think that there are some things like pain, for example, where there's utility in a certain amount of pain. Like you burn yourself on a stove, so you know not to touch the stove. So, what do you mean by suffering? Because people can mean very different things by that. Do you mean all pain?
No, not all pain, but like causing suffering on other people, like causing suffering on other people.
I generally think that's bad. Yeah.
Well, then why would you kill a human baby? They feel pain.
Fetuses, to my knowledge, don't feel pain. And two,
Well,
even if I grant you,
unfortunately, not to your knowledge,
even if I
they do
grant,
feel pain.
even if I grant you that they feel exactly the same amount of pain as like a fully grown human, I still don't think that would give a fully grown human and all of the sensory things that go with that the right to commandeer somebody else's body.
They're not commandeering anybody's
They,
body,
they
though.
absolutely are.
They are not commandeering.
If you don't want it in there, it is definitionally yes.
Definitionally commandeering?
Yeah,
How?
yeah.
How? No, I said how.
Do you not know what commandeering means?
I do know what commandeering means. I'm asking you, how is it commandeering your body?
Uh, you're taking possession of someone else's body.
You're not taking possession. You're growing.
Yeah,
That's not possession. You're
you
not
you
causing them
you.
to do anything. You are
If somebody doesn't have the
you've been
right to remove it,
fertilized.
if someone doesn't have the right to remove it, then clearly that thing has commandeered some portion of your body.
Commandeered?
Yeah, taken a take possession of without authority. Yeah,
But it's by your authority.
yeah, that it continues to exist there. But if someone changes their mind, they have the right to get rid of that.
So you don't care about human life.
I care about human life that is born.
Why?
Because historically and culturally, that's
That's
generally
not no
when
no 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 no. Historically and culturally, that has never been an issue.
it absolutely has legally throughout most of human
Not
history.
legally,
Throughout most,
culturally, and
let me
historically.
finish a goddamn sentence. Throughout most of human
Okay.
history, the idea of when life begins is not at conception; it's when the baby takes its first breath. That is
It's always been at conception.
No, it hasn't. No, people didn't even know how babies were made until like 100 years ago, dude. They knew it had something to do with sex.
Really?
They knew it had something to do with sex, but like yeah, like 150 years ago, they were just figuring out germ theory. Like they barely knew what like sperm and like ova were. They didn't know how it worked. The idea of like conception in the way that we understand it is a very modern thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I mean, even the Egyptians knew that.
Well, they knew it had something
Once,
to do with sex, but they didn't know what was going on in the human body.
yeah, they
Because
did. They're
no,
doing
because
autopsies and everything like that.
every time you have sex, do you have a baby?
Well, no, not
Yeah,
every time.
exactly. They didn't know
Obviously,
what the mechanisms were.
you're a woman, right?
Yeah,
Okay, then you would know that.
know what?
That not every time you have sex with somebody, you're gonna have a baby.
Yeah, of course I know that. But like the idea of conception is like a sperm and an egg meeting and life beginning. People didn't know what those
Yes.
people didn't know what those were until like 150 years ago. Do you think in ancient Egypt they knew what sperm was?
Yeah.
How? Did they
I
have
mean,
like
it's
ancient
pretty.
Egyptian microscopes or something?
I don't think they had ancient Egyptian microscopes. I think they didn't have anything like that at all.
Well, they certainly knew what cum was, but they didn't know what was in the cum.
It was the egg. They always do that.
What? Wait, do you think that
I
in
mean,
do you think that in cum there are human eggs?
my bad. I messed that up. Hold on here. I'm I'm losing everything here.
It's okay, take your time.
You gotta forgive me. I am on the road at the moment.
Why are you? What are you? You're on the road and you're calling into a YouTube show.
Yeah, why not?
What are you doing on the road?
Traveling?
To do what?
I
Like
am headed to Atlanta, Georgia at the moment.
are you like a trucker or something?
Fuck no.
Are you on like a journey of self discovery? Like what?
No, 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 no. No, I am not on a journey for self-discovery, no.
You should consider getting into the trucking business.
Why?
People watching generally think that that would be a pretty cool thing to do
Why?
because truckers are cool.
No, they're not. They're fucking dumb as fuck. I've been around enough of them.
I mean, I don't know that you necessarily have the high ground here after saying men create eggs,
I
but
know.
yeah. But truckers generally are pretty cool and chill.
Really?
Yeah,
Have you met much truckers?
yeah. I have a few in my community.
Oh, well,
Like
give them my condolences.
they gotta do something while they're driving around, so they listen to like audiobooks and stuff. Tend to know a lot of
Ah,
stuff. But yeah, here I'm just gonna throw this up on my screen, which you probably shouldn't be able to see since you're driving, but I'll just read it out loud for chat. It's an article from Atlas Obscura called "Why It Took Scientists So Long to Figure Out Where Babies Come From," and the byline is, or the subheader is, "Human conception was still basically a total mystery until as recently as 1875." Until I'll just read it out a little bit. Until 1875, no one in the world knew where babies come from. Ordinary people didn't know, and neither did the scientists who helped shape the modern world. Leonardo da Vinci didn't know, Galileo didn't know, Isaac Newton didn't know. They knew, that is, that men and women have sex, and as a result, sometimes babies, but they did not know how those babies were created. They did not know that women produce eggs, and when they finally discovered sperm cells, they did not know that those wriggly tadpoles had anything to do with babies and pregnancy. The leading theory was that they were parasites, perhaps related to the newly discovered mini creatures that swam in droplets of pond water. This was Isaac Newton's view, by the way. Um, in fact, a lot of people for a long time believed that like cum and sperm was actually like spinal fluid, and that by masturbating too much you would become dumber. I have on screen here a picture of a habitual masturbator from 1847. The idea being that he masturbated too much and as a result was a drooling idiot. Yeah, also could make you go blind. People thought that too. The OG Gunners. It's true.
I know a lot of people who think that masturbating too much will fucking take away their testosterone.
Yeah, it's all hogwash from the 1800s. So, yeah, what's up?
I just don't understand
Mm-hmm.
how. Let me see here. How someone could just think that it's not life and just still kill it
I mean,
if it is life.
I'm willing to grant you that it is life, and I'm willing to grant you that it's even human life, but I still think even if you granted it all of the same rights as a fully grown adult human,
Hmm.
you would still be in the wrong forcing someone to chain their body to it for 9 months. That
Why would I be in? Why would that be in the wrong?
Because it would be a violation of their bodily autonomy, which like we respect even for dead people. So like seems pretty straightforward to me that we should respect it for living people.
But Why should that be a right?
Because generally, I think opening up the violation of bodily autonomy leads to the government having horribly, horribly overpowered powers, like, again, seizing organs from living people. For example, if
We're
you,
not talking about seizing organs from living people. We're
but
talking about human life here.
we are talking about rights and rights derived from governments, right? And so, since we're talking about,
Rights derived from men,
yeah,
but
from governments, groups of men, right? And so, generally speaking, I think that if you remove the right to bodily autonomy in that case, then you open up the door to all kinds of other things. Even if we ignore all of the suffering that removing bodily autonomy in that case could do, you open up the door to other suffering. Like, for example, the government could look at, well, X number of people need kidneys. These people don't need both of their kidneys. We're going to take the kidneys from these healthy people and put them in these sick people. And it doesn't matter if you consent or not, we need your kidney. I think that this
but
is
if
pretty bad, a major overstep of the government, and I think that would be bad.
but if the baby is its own human body,
Hmm.
then you're taking away that body autonomy from him as well, or from it, or from
Well,
he or she.
well, no, because
Why?
it has the right to its own bodily autonomy, of course, but it will die as soon as you like disconnect it from the mother. Like that's that's its own bodily autonomy at work. If it was actually autonomous with its body, then it could just continue on uh, as if it were a fully grown adult human, continue on growing, etc. But it is not, it doesn't have bodily autonomy because by its very nature, it's connected to another body.
But it's still a body.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you're still killing another body.
Yeah, because it has no right to take your body against your will.
It's not taking your body against your will, though.
It absolutely is.
How?
During pregnancy, babies take nutrients from their mother's body. It changes the body function of the host. Their mother. Um, it creates like a chain reaction of different like hormonal changes in a body, in order to facilitate its own life. Like that's kind of what's happening there. And I think that women in general, pregnant folks, have the right to say, I don't want that to happen to my body. Um, and I think that that's their right.
But you still agree that it's a human body.
Sure,
It's a human life, right?
sure. I just don't think it has the same rights as a
So that
fully
would be
grown
considered.
person.
Why is that?
Do you think like I don't know, like parents should have to pay child support for an unborn child? Like if they're divorced? Do you think that like that unborn child should be on the census, should be uh being incorporated into our tax system? No, you don't. Like
Not
cuz
if it's
that
unborn.
yeah, that's never happened in human
Well, that has
history.
nothing to do with anything.
Well,
Well,
that
because
no, it actually has to
it's not
do
born yet. You don't have to support it.
it actually has to do with everything, right? Because
Well,
we don't give them the same rights as like independent grown either babies or grown adults.
do you not think that we have the fundamental right to human life
I think we do once we're born, yeah.
once we're born?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between once we're born and if we're not born? Is it just like a
On the one hand, we are
just a magical thing?
on the one hand, we're like biologically complete and we will be able to go on if we're provided like food and water, etc. Um and we're
You
biologically
still need that, and
yeah,
as
but we're
as
biologically, at that point you're biologically separate. It's not dependent on like the mother's body for life. And I think that that is a distinct difference between before it's born and after it's born, which a difference that you just acknowledged exists.
There's differences, but
Yeah, and I
there's
think
not a differences to life.
but I think that those
There
differences
can't be.
I think those
Well, there can't be. There can't be a differences to life.
I think that those differences matter when we're talking about legal rights and government rights.
But it's not about the governmental rights. It's about the right to human life.
Yeah, which is a right
Everybody should have the
granted to
right to
you,
human life.
which is a right granted to you by the government.
That is not a right granted to you by the government.
It
That is
it
a
ab-
right
it
granted to you
well,
by God.
it absolutely is a right granted to you by government. If you're on like a desert island, do you have a right to life? What does that even mean
Yeah,
if you're living in isolation?
everyone has a right to life.
And
That's your
what
immutable
it
right.
what do you
You
think
were given to
wait,
that by God.
what do
By
you think
God, you were given to
what
it.
do you think a right is?
It is a construct.
Yeah. And how
Hmm.
is that construct at all enforced?
By a government or men.
Yep.
But in
So
the instances,
it's
but
not by
no, no, no,
God,
no,
is
wait.
it?
But in the instances of life, since God creates life,
I mean,
it is
frankly,
by Him.
I don't care about God. I care about rights given by governments. So,
Well,
when we're
the
talking about
right to life is not a right by government.
well, it
The
absolutely
right to life
is.
is by God.
We're talking about the right to life as enforced by the government.
But then again, it's not a right by the government to life. It's by God. That's why
That
it's something that should be cherished.
you're not making sense. Can you try that again?
Okay, so by the right, by to have a the right to life is not by any government or anything like that. It's super super passes that by God because we all have the right to life.
Okay.
And for you to take that away from that,
If I
that
don't
is
believe
considered a
in
murder.
if I don't believe in your God, what does that matter to me?
Well, I mean that's your own decision.
Yeah, so like
you just
what's the
you're
argument
still
that
gonna pay the prices to that.
sure, after I die, but what argument are you going to provide me that your position is correct outside of I believe in a God that told me X, Y, or Z? Like that doesn't move me when we're talking about whether or not women should have a legal right to abortion.
So you would like a legal right for
Yeah,
murder.
when we're talking about legal rights, we're talking about governments, yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay, so let's
and
all right.
also again,
So you want a legal
wait,
right
wait,
to
wait.
murder.
Murder is a legal distinction, and
Yeah.
it doesn't apply to abortion.
How?
Uh, because it literally the person involved is not even born yet.
That is that is not even close. No, 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 no. You're still taking a life.
Do you think that when you masturbate, you're taking lives?
Oh my god.
No, like
No.
no. Oh, okay. Why?
Well, because it hasn't been fertilized yet.
Uh huh. But just stick with me here. They could be fertilized.
Could be,
So
but they aren't.
also, I'm not going to quibble with you about this, but eggs get fertilized. The sperm don't get fertilized. But yes. Um. So you are committing murder by by not seeing these sperm to eggs. You are killing potential life, right?
No,
Why not?
because they're not fertilized.
But they could be.
Indeed, they can.
Yeah. So why is that at all different?
Because they aren't fertilized and they don't create. hasn't been created into a human being yet.
But they're human life.
No, they're not. They're not human life.
What they come from your body. They're human life, clearly.
It comes from my body, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean every time you have a
All
period,
of
you're creating murder?
every single one of those sperm cells is human, bud.
They're not human.
They are
It's not a
absolutely
human
human.
life.
They are
How is it
human
human life?
because each
Human
one of
life
them
only happens when a
each one of
sperm
them each one of
comes into an
them
egg and fertilizes and
each
creates a fetus.
each one of those sperm could fertilize and create an entirely new human being, and you're killing millions of them every time you come. You are aborting millions of potential children every time you masturbate.
Really?
Yeah. Millions of
No.
potential children. Yeah.
No.
Every sperm
That is the dumbest fucking
ev-
thing
every
I have ever fucking heard.
Oh, good, because that's the level of argument you're at when you're talking about being anti-abortion because, like, oh, it's a human life. It's a human life. It's a fetus, bud. It's not born yet.
What does fetus mean?
It is a fertilized egg growing into
No, I asked you, what does
larger
fetus
forms.
mean? What does
Okay,
fetus mean?
what does fetus mean?
Yeah.
It's a stage of human development.
No.
Okay, then you tell me what you think fetus means.
Alrighty. It's something like a little child, like growing inside of you.
It is a stage of human development. Yeah.
Fetus is an offspring. Fetus is offspring.
Mm-hmm.
So your cum or my cum,
Yep.
sorry, you're a woman,
Uh-huh.
is not a fetus. It is not life.
It could be. Just as much as that fetus could be life, so too
No,
could
no,
sperm.
what the fuck?
Wait,
No.
where did that fetus come from?
It came from sperm and an egg
Oh!
joining together.
Oh! Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
it's joining together. It's
Oh
something that's
yeah.
joined together.
Yeah. Yeah,
It is something that is joined together.
yeah, and sometimes things join together and go on to become, bigger things, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, like sometimes uh like you can think of it like Legos. You have two different Legos. And then you click one brick on another and it suddenly becomes a different shape. It becomes a new thing, right? But those component pieces were necessary to make the new thing, right?
That has mm, a fetus is only created when the fertilization of the eggs
Uh-huh.
happen.
Yeah, what is the fertilizer?
It's a sperm, but
Yeah, so you're
yeah,
killing millions of potential children when you come. If you were being consistent with this, you should save every single sperm, freeze it, and then like make sure each of those sperms gets into an egg.
really.
Yeah, because otherwise you're killing human life, bud.
How? How?
Each
How
one
is that
each
killing
each each one
human
of those
life?
sperm could fertilize an egg and become a human.
Well, no,
Yeah, yeah.
because I mean, the chances of that happening during fertilization is like 1 in a million.
Oh, but you know what? We have modern science. We can just like insert the sperm into an egg.
We're not talking about modern sciences.
We absolutely are.
Why? We're talking about just basic fucking human rights.
Because abortion is a medical procedure.
why should abortion? Okay, so let me. I will grant you
Mm-hmm.
abortion for rape or grape. My bad. My
You
grape and incest.
you can say rape.
Okay, well, a lot of people get butthurt about that word, so I just want to.
Okay, so now we're
But
entering into a
so
okay. Well,
if I grant you rape and incest,
mm-hmm.
can you take off just pleasure, just getting abortions done for shits and giggles off the table?
No.
Why?
So, do you have any idea how long it takes to prove in court that a rape happened?
That has nothing to do with the question.
Oh no, it does. How long do you think a average rape case takes to work its way through the legal system?
No idea. I've never been associated with anything like that.
So, generally speaking, it takes a long ass time. That's the very specific language of it. It is a long ass time to
Hmm.
prove that a rape happened, and you have 9 months. And really, realistically, you have like with the provisions of Roe v. Wade, you have about like 5-ish months before the third trimester kicks in.
Hmm.
Um, and or well, sorry, we'll say 6. And generally, rape cases and incest cases are both going to take longer than 6 months. So the
Yeah, but that's not what I asked
no,
you.
no, no. But so what I'm trying to tell you is that the exceptions for rape and incest don't mean shit, because they aren't actually going to allow any of the victims of that to get an abortion. Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm asked, but no, I don't see what you're saying. I asked you a question. If we allowed, okay,
Mm-hmm.
if we allowed, I'm gonna give you this, okay? If we allowed rape and incest, abortions, okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Can we take off abortions willy nilly off the table?
Uh-huh.
Can we take them off?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, no.
Why?
Because I live in the real world where like rape and
What real world?
where
We're
rape
not talking about rape and incest. We're talking about getting an abortion for willy nilly. Like just, nah, I don't feel like it. Man, I'm gonna post it on Instagram. Man,
I
I don't want to get it out of me. Man.
I think I think it's totally fine if you decide for whatever reason you don't want to use your body to give birth. I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, and I find that as like you have absolute no no sense for human life. You have no concern for human life if you think that.
I mean, do you think that like a 10-year-old girl should be strapped down and forced to give birth?
What? No.
Oh, well that's what you're talking about.
10-year-old girls don't get
There's
pregnant.
no like abortion court to go to be like, I want an abortion for X, Y, or Z reason. Like that's not a thing that exists. There's no way for us to determine who's getting an abortion for good reasons. All we can determine is whether or not that it's within like an acceptable time frame, usually again the first and second trimester, um, where it would be like generally acceptable to have an abortion, and that's that's
If you
that's what we can do.
if you had a cutoff for
Mm-hmm.
abortion, what would that be?
Generally, where it was before Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Remind me on that.
Again, usually around the first and it's usually seen as acceptable in the first and second trimester, not so much in the third. But there's also a provision for what's called late term abortion, which is a case in which a mother wants to give birth, but generally there's a complication with either the pregnancy, the birthing process, or the baby, and for one of those reasons, there needs to be an abortion. Um,
Well, it wasn't. It's not the reason for there was never a reason for an abortion. That's the whole reason what the C-section was developed for. So I mean, we can get rid of that stuff through a C-section.
The C-section wasn't developed to not do abortions.
Well, it was
And also,
developed. No, no, it wasn't developed not for abortions. It was developed to
yeah,
a
to
way around it.
yeah, but
Well, we'll just do a C-section. We'll just split your stomach open and take it out.
yeah, that sometimes works, but it doesn't work all the time. The C-section can't fix every birthing complication
Oh,
because it's one procedure that fixes a certain set of birthing complications, but not all of them.
how? You're not giving birth at that point.
Getting a C-section is giving birth.
You're not giving birth as in it's going through the vaginal canal.
They're both
And that's where the complications happen.
no, the complications can happen in a number of different places. The C-section can avoid
Like
some of them, but not all of them.
like what?
Well, for example, you can have like a fetus that has gotten stuck in a certain way. Then that causes like a backup of fluids and different birthing things that causes the birthing process to begin, but for various reasons
Yeah, and my
cannot be
sister had the
solved
exact same thing and she had a C-section and
cannot be solved
they
via
fixed
a
it.
C-section. There are
Yeah,
other
they had the exact same thing.
there are other cases where the C-section doesn't fix it. Do you, like what you're trying to argue with me right now is essentially that like, well, we have band-aids. So why would you ever need to get a cut on your arm sewn up? Well, because sometimes a band-aid isn't going to fix the open wound on your arm. You need to have it sewn up. You need to have it sutured. There are two different medical approaches to that.
Yeah, I don't see that by any chance.
You don't think that
I haven't
you
seen
don't think that pregnancy
anything
has
where
complications?
I didn't say that pregnancies don't have complications. I've never seen a pregnancy that has a complication where it couldn't be fixed by a C-section or other means
How many
besides an abortion.
sorry, how many pregnancies do you think involve, like just a percentage, involve complications?
I have no idea.
Generally speaking, there are pregnancy complications around 10% of the time. One in every 10
Mhm.
births, there is a pregnancy complication. And then about uh, 14% of pregnancies, like when the actual birthing happens, have another set of complications. But these two sets of complications are different, and only some of them are solved by C-section. The C-section isn't like this magical thing that just ensures every pregnancy goes smoothly. It is a wonderful surgical procedure that has saved many, many lives, but it doesn't fix all of them.
Yeah, but like I said before, like if we got rid of rape, incest, all of that, would you still want to have like all the okay, rape, incest, and medical anomalies, we'll
Mm-hmm.
say.
Just are you putting forward like a
Would you
hypothetical where like none of those ever happen?
No, I'm granting you those. I'm
Okay.
granting those abortions, okay? I'm
Mm-hmm.
granting them. Would you still keep abortion like as a right for anybody to go in and just willy-nilly get an abortion because I don't want this thing inside of me?
Yeah, because I believe in bodily autonomy. Now, obviously,
That is not bodily autonomy,
I
though.
believe in
It's a
some
totally different body. It's a totally different body. It's a totally
and
different
it is,
DNA structure.
and you know what? It is welcome to try and survive outside the womb on its own. But I think bodily autonomy is very, very important and shouldn't be infringed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Um, whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not talking about anything. I'm the
Nah.
fucking nerd you're talking about on your stream. Those guys, I can't stand those guys.
Yeah, they're silly billies. But
Yeah.
I've got other topics I want to cover, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you. You have a good trip down to Atlanta, and go with peace.
You as well. Thank you. I want to say thank you for letting me on your channel
Yeah, no problem.
and being cordial. I hope I was cordial as well. I didn't scream out the N word, so
I appreciate it. You know.
I'm a real person.
All right, you have
you,
a good one.
you
Stay safe. Okay.
you have a you as well. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Um, my goodness. What? Hello. I hope you all enjoyed that. I did it to satisfy approximately like 3 of you.